Hello, everyone. Welcome to the guided newspaper reading session. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Please let me know if I am audible to you. Welcome, everyone. I see that 5 people are watching. Good evening, Taraj. Good evening. How are you doing today? I hope everyone's doing fine. Please let me know if I am audible to everyone. There's 6 people watching. Great, great. So please respond in the chat. Just type in the chat if I am audible to everyone. Audible. Thank you so much, Thiraj. So before we start the guided newspaper reading, I would like to first inform everyone how these classes go. So I will read out this article that is in front of you. I will go through each line of the article. That's great, Shiva. Welcome to the class, Santosh, Shiva, Kashish, Sai Kiran, and also Dhiraj. Thank you everyone for joining for this session. So I'm really pleased to have all of you here. And today, in the guided newspaper reading session, what we actually do is that we go over the article that you see in front of you. Every newspaper reading session, we pick up an article that can help you enhance your vocabulary, your comprehension, and also help you improve your English language capacities overall. So that's going to be the focus of this session today. You will learn new words and phrases. So any word that is new for you, I will be explaining it to you um, in the session. And whenever I ask any questions and someone gives an answer to me, so even if it is the wrong answer or if it's the right answer, I'm going to give a shout out to you. So just to encourage you, so even wrong answers are encouraged. It's how well you can answer me and how well can you follow directions. Also, it's about, just learning. So that's the environment here. I just want you to learn and be open to learning so that when I give you new words, when you give me answers, it's very possible that when I give you answers, you will be very interested in knowing what the word means. So I'm not going to waste any more time. It's a very brief session that we have 3 times a week. So I'm going to get started with the article. So you see right here in front of you, the title of the article is Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Pre means before. So I hope everybody knows what the what the prefix pre means. Pre means before. So whenever we see the word pre attached to another word, that just means before. So when I say pre-exam or pre-lunch session, and if I say post-lunch session, so pre means before, post means after. So this is a very small thing. Raphaelite is a word taken from Raphael. So there's an angel in Christian mythology called Raphael. All of that is not very important. So this is just the name of a movement in arts and culture. So it was a movement about in paintings, poetry, and art. So this is the pre-Raphaelite brotherhood. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of the word brotherhood? Is anyone familiar with it? If you're familiar with it, please give me your answers in the chat. Are you familiar with brotherhood? What is the meaning of brotherhood? So if you know that, please type your answers in the chat. I'll wait for your answers. Yes, Kashish, bond. Very, very good. It's a bond between people. A brotherhood or a sisterhood refers to a very close, tight-knit bond between a group of people, right? So that is it for the title. Thank you so much for your answer, Kashish. Very well done. Now let's look at the rest of the article. I'm going to read it. Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, a group of young British painters who banded together in 1848 in reaction against what they conceived to be the unimaginative and artificial historical painting of the Royal Academy, and who purportedly sought to express a new moral seriousness and sincerity in their works. So this is a very heavy sentence, a long sentence, but we'll break it down so that you understand it. So pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, what were they? They were a group of young British painters. So what they were focused on primarily was painting. So their medium of expression was painting, who banded together in 1848. So to band together means to come together, to just join hands together. So band, you must have heard of musical bands. There are many performers in a musical band. It's not just one artist, it's many artists in a musical band. So a band just means a group of people. Here, they banded together, they formed a group in 1848 in reaction. So this was a movement that was a reaction, that was some sort of a protest. So, when Indians were made slaves, or, they were just ruled over by the British, they protested against the British rule. And very similarly, here the painters reacted, protested against what they conceived to be the unimaginative and artificial historical painting. So conceived means to give birth. So conceived is usually used in the context of motherhood. So conceived means to conceive a child. In the context of motherhood, it's when it's usually used, but conceived just means to begin something, it is a start of something fresh and new, just a birth of something new. So what they conceived here is not actually a start. There's two meanings. Conceived is also what they thought. So their thought process about something, or their preconceived notions about something, that's what here the word conceived means. So they thought that the painting of the Royal Academy was artificial. It means it wasn't very real. They didn't think that it reflected the realities of life, and that is why they rejected it. So the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood was a band of people, of British painters, who thought that the paintings of the Royal Academy were not good enough, or they were just, an artificial nature and just not up to what they would call a natural standard of beauty. They thought that it was unimaginative, that not a lot of imagination went into it. So because it was an art sculpture, wherever there's going to be an art medium, people would want something imaginative, something new. So I think you must have heard about modern art, and a lot of people have a lot of complaints about modern art being unimaginative and not beautiful, just artificial. That was also a complaint that the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood had with art in general. So they sought to express a new moral seriousness. What the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood wanted to do, they were seeking to express. So seeking means to search. Sought, S-O-U-G-H-T, is the past form of seek. Seek means to search for something. I hope you're all writing these words down in case you don't know about these words, because this is how it will help you. So once you have a list of words that you don't know about, you go over them over and over again. This is how you broaden your vocabulary. I hope that's clear. Great. So they sought to express a new moral seriousness and sincerity in their work. So what they were looking for was not unimaginative. Whatever is artificial is not sincere. When I say this person is a very artificial person, it means that this person is not sincere, not genuine in their expression. And they were looking for a sincerity in the medium of art. I hope everyone is understanding what I'm talking about. Please let me know if you have any difficulties in the very first sentence. So the first sentence is kind of, difficult to understand. So I would understand that if you have some sort of a problem in understanding it, please let me know in the chat if you have a problem with it. Or just any new word that you found in this very first sentence that you were, not able to understand. It's great. It's great. Thank you so much for responding, Kashish. So there's 9 people watching us. I'll just give a shout out to all the people attending. Something Social, Shiva, Santosh Shetty, um, Dhiraj, Kashish, all of these people are responding in the chat. I will encourage a lot of you to, just respond in the chat so that we have uh, a greater community. So you can tell me if you have any questions, you can, just type them out in the chat. I am constantly looking at the chat and I will be responding to each of your questions. Great. Now let's look at the next sentence. They were inspired by Italian art of the 14th and 15th centuries, and their adoption of the name Pre-Raphaelite expressed their admiration for what they saw as the direct and uncomplicated depiction of nature typical of Italian painting before the High Renaissance, and particularly before the time of Raphael. All right, this is a mouthful of a sentence. Let's try to break it down. Um, but here, if you see, there's a small tidbit of information. It categorizes this movement into a movement of arts and culture. So this is an arts and culture movement. This is the dates that this event lasted from. So it was an event, or it was just, a culture or a cultural phenomenon that lasted from 1848 to 1852, right? So if we, just see it's a very brief period of time. It's just 4 years. But the cultural impact of this was really great, and a lot of artists still follow the techniques that are presented in the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. So we see what are the artists of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. We see here Dante Gabriel Rossetti, who was also a poet, John Everett Millais, Edward Burne-Jones. All of these people were the artists associated with the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. All right. So the Pre-Raphaelites expressed their admiration. So can anyone tell me what is the meaning of the word admiration? Should not be too difficult for all of you. Tell me if you know the meaning of the word admiration, if any one of you, or just any one of you is familiar with the word admiration. Can you tell me the meaning of the word admiration? I'm just waiting for the answers. Sri Ram Prakash, welcome to the IELTS guided newspaper reading class on the Verbalist YouTube channel. Please, someone let me know the meaning of the word admiration. Great. Sai Karan says it's inspirational. Kashish says it's showing love and care. And Santosh says it's admiring anyone or something. So yes, all of you are largely correct. Admiration means to be in awe of somebody, to in um, awe of somebody. So it just means you look at someone and then you get inspired. You actually admire them. You respect them. To admire something is to just greatly like something, respect something, or somebody. So a lot of people admire their favorite actors, they admire their favorite musicians, their favorite artists. People who are accomplished and can make a difference are worthy of admiration. So can you try to make one sentence on the word admiration? Now that we know the meaning of the word admiration, please try to make a sentence on it. Can you try it? Sriram says respectful. Yes, respectful is also a synonym or another word for just another word for admiration. Please try to make a sentence on it, just one sentence. Shiva says applause. So applause is just clapping. Clapping is a way to admire someone, but it does not mean applause. I admire how my mom handles everything and teaches me about multitasking. Kashish, a really great effort. Yes, that is a correct way to make the sentence on the word admire. So instead of admiration, you use the other form, which is just admire. So yes, your answer is absolutely correct. Your sentence is absolutely fantastic. Uh, good work, Kashish. She's the very first person to answer it. I admire the politeness of my coach. Great, Sriram. That's a great question. That's a great sentence. So I'll also give you a shout out. Great, everyone. Thank you so much for your answers, Kashish and Sriram. I'm so sorry I spelled your name wrong, Sriram. It's Sri Ram. All right. Sree. Great. Thank you so much for your answers. Let's continue with the article. Great. So the pre-Raphaelites expressed their admiration for what they saw as direct and uncomplicated depiction of nature. So they liked a direct depiction. Depiction means to show something. To depict something means to show something through a medium. So depiction through paintings, depiction through pictures or photography, or depiction through literature in writing. So all of that means to show something mm, through various mediums. Now we look here at the next thing, direct and uncomplicated depiction of nature. So they were very interested in how nature was presented in their paintings, typical of Italian painting styles. So there were many painting styles uh, in the Renaissance, which was a time of cultural resurgence of architecture, a cultural resurgence of sculptures and paintings. So they took inspiration from the Italian paintings before the High Renaissance, and particularly before the time of Raphael. So Raphael was a very, very famous artist and sculptor, just a sculptor, sorry, not a sculpture. He was a sculptor. Look at this sculptor. He sculpted various edifices, and he also painted the Sistine Chapel. So he was a painter, a sculptor, and an artist. And so they admired, the pre-Raphaelites admired the art that came before Raphael. So before the artist Raphael, hence the name pre-Raphaelite, pre-Raphaelite. So pre Raphaelite means just before the art of Raphael was made. That is the time of painting and resurgence of painting that they actually enjoyed. Although the Brotherhood's active life lasted not quite 5 years, its influence on painting in Britain and ultimately on the decorative arts and interior design was profound. All right, so here we see a couple of words that you might or might not know the meaning of. So they say, although the Brotherhood's active life lasted not quite 5 years. So not quite 5 years means less than 5 years, not even 5 years. We see here it lasted for 4 years. Its influence, so the amount of influence it had on painting in Britain and on decorative arts. So any sort of art form that you use to decorate. So sculptures, carpets, paintings, candle making, just decorative items in general, and the design of the interiors of a house, which is interior design, was profound. So, can anyone tell me what the word profound means? Profound. I hope you have some sort of idea of what the word profound means, so please let me know. Okay, Patan Afroz has given me an answer for the previous question. My mother is a doctor. She always admiration for every woman. So here is some sort of a grammatical mistake, Patan. I can improve it for you. So you can say my mother is a doctor and She's always a source of admiration for every woman. That would be the correct way to form that sentence. Please, anyone, let me know about the word profound. Do you know the meaning of the word profound? Something very deep, Kashish is correct. Something that causes a lot of impact, something that has a deep impact. And that is going to be the word profound. Very good job, Kashish. Really great job. I really like how Kashish is giving me a lot of answers. I'm going to shout her out. Intense, yes. Saikiran, it's not easy to find. Profound is just something that is deep and something that is of a higher, uh, not a higher dimension really, but something that has a higher impact on someone. So something can be shallow or profound. Profound is deep. Sincere, yes, that's correct. Great work, everyone. Great work, Kashish. I'm gonna shout everyone out. Sriram, um, Shiva, and Sai Karan. Thank you so much for answering these questions. You all are doing great. So I hope the first paragraph was understood by everyone. Let's move on to the second one. The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood was formed in 1848 by 3 Royal Academy students. So if you remember in the paragraph above, these people, the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood people, they were really, sort of unsettled by how about the state of art especially in the Royal Academy. So the Royal Academy was the authority on all sort of art that was produced in Britain for a very long time, and these people were very frustrated. But what is interesting is that the founders of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, were also the students of the Royal Academy. They were Dante Gabriel Rossetti, who was a gifted poet as well as a painter. It was William Holman Hunt and John Everett Millais, all under 25 years of age. So very, very young people, just frustrated with the state of art, and they started the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood in 1848. The painter James Collinson, the painter and critic F.G. Stephens, the sculptor Thomas Woolner, and the critic William Michael Rossetti, Dante Gabriel's brother, joined them by invitation. So these 3 original founding members, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, William Holman Hunt, and John Everett Millais, they were really young people, and then they invited a few people to their posse or to their clique, or just to their group. So who were these people? William Michael Rossetti, Dante Gabriel Rossetti's brother, the painters William Dyce and Ford Madox Brown, who acted in part as mentors to the young men, came to adapt their own work to the pre-Raphaelistic or the pre-Raphaelite style. So these were people who were also painters. They were invited to this movement, and then they acted as mentors. So they acted as guides, as teachers to the younger men who were just starting out this movement. And then these people, William Dyce, Ford Madox Ford, and William Michael Rossetti, and all the other people that were invited, so the critic and the painter, they also adapted their style to the style of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. So that was, I think, an easy enough paragraph to understand. I hope everything is clear. Please let me know if something is not clear. The second paragraph is understood by everyone. Give me a thumbs up if you understand. It's understood by everyone. I will also paste the link to the article here in case anyone is really interested in looking at the article and they want more information on this movement of arts and culture, then please do take a look. Please let me know if it's clear to everyone. Should I just start with paragraph number 3? Okay, thank you for your response, Santosh, Kashish. Great response, everyone. Let's start. If you have any questions about whatever we are doing, please feel free to comment in the chat box. Great, everyone. Great. Great. All right. So let's look at the third paragraph. This is going to be our last paragraph. We don't have the time to go through all of this. Only 2 paragraphs will remain, which I think you can go through by yourself and see how much of it you have absorbed and how much of it you've understood. Great. The Brotherhood immediately began to produce highly convincing and significant works. Convincing. The word convincing here refers to something that can give you proof. Proof of greatness. So convincing means that their paintings were convincingly wonderful, beautiful, made an impact, and then they were of just really high quality. So they were able to produce a highly convincing and they were able to produce highly convincing and significant works. So significant means important. Convincing means proof that their paintings were worth something. Right? So they were significant works, they were convincing works. Their pictures of religious and medieval subjects strove to revive the deep religious feeling and naive, unadorned directness of 15th century Florentine and Sienese painting. All right, so many jargon words, so many words that you might or might not know the meaning of. Let's just break it down. All right, so let's take a look at this word, medieval. So medieval refers to something from the Middle Ages. Medieval is Middle Ages. Right, so the Middle Ages, you can take from 1300 to 1500 were the Middle Ages. So the years 1300 to 1500, or even, you know what, 1100 to 1500 were the Middle Ages. So, and they strove, that they strived, they wanted, their aim or their goal, something that they strived for, was to revive. Revive means to bring back the deep religious feelings. So the people from the Middle Ages, they were deeply religious people. Their lives were steeped in the church and religious activities and reading the Bible. So they wanted to bring back that intense religious feeling, naive. Naive means someone who's really, not very clever, someone who is very childlike and innocent. So the word innocent for naive would be correct. So innocent is naive, medieval is Middle Ages. Unadorned means something that is not decorated. So something that is not artificial, that is unadorned. To adorn someone means to decorate them. To unadorn, or just, the word unadorned means something that is not decorated and something that is not artificial. The directness of 15th century Florentine. Florentine means something that is from Florence. Florence is a city, or was the capital of Italy. Rome was the capital of Italy. Florence was a city in Italy, where all the cultural and artistic thing happened during the Renaissance. So Florentine just refers to this anything that belongs to the city Florence in Italy. The style that Hunt and Millais evolved featured sharp and brilliant lighting, a clear atmosphere, and a near photographic reproduction of minute details. So their focus was on having bright, beautiful, clear lighting, a clear atmosphere, so nothing is foggy. So if you are aware of, let's say, what would I call it, the impressionistic movement, where painters paint everything foggy and everything is quite, not very clear and has a very dreamy quality to it. It was not like that. This was just very photographic. It means it looked very, very realistic, and all the minute details were realistic as well. They also frequently introduce a private poetic symbolism into their representations of biblical subjects and medieval literary themes. So here you see private poetic symbolism. So private means something that is not public, something that is not very known. So they would include symbols in their paintings, which would just not be very well known to the public. So if you take a look at it, it would you wouldn't catch what they're trying to symbolize. But if you looked deeper, you would find that they're trying to symbolize biblical subjects, so subjects related to the Bible and medieval literary themes. So medieval, I just told you, Middle Ages, so themes from the literature of the Middle Ages. So this is it for today, everyone. I'm going to end this session now, but I will be more than happy to take questions from you. So please let me know if you have any questions for this session. Do you think this was an interesting session? Did you like learning about the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood? Do you think it is an interesting subject to learn about? So what we do in guided newspaper readings is that we try to include a very diverse group of articles every time so that we can broaden your knowledge as much as possible. So the last time we did a guided newspaper reading session, it was an article from NASA about the changing phases of the moon and how different full moons and super moons are known across the world in different cultures. So we studied about Buddha Purnima, we studied about the pink moon, the pink supermoon, we studied about the blood moon, we studied about all of these interesting things, which you don't usually find in, I think, other article classes, other reading classes. So we just try to make it as wide and as interesting as possible for every one of you. Thank you so much for your response, Kashish. You are a great student. You have great responses, very early, very great responses. Also, I would like to thank Deep Kaur, Kashish, Shiva, Something Social, George Muller, Sri Ram Prakash, and who else was here? Dheeraj was here, Santosh Shetty was here. Thank you so much for attending the guided newspaper reading session. I will send the link to the next guided reading session in the WhatsApp group itself. So please be sure to not miss it out. If you don't have any questions, I'll end the session. Thank you so much for attending. Have a great night and have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.